Sixth Sunday of Easter speaks to us of the greatest commandment ever spoken by Jesus. All these things happened during the Last Supper, when Jesus was giving a long discourse in 5 chapters from 13 to 17 chapter of John's Gospel. Now, in this particular part of the Gospel, Jesus insists over and over again about the love. Jesus says, I have loved you because Father has loved me. And therefore, because Father loved me, so I love you. Now, what do we understand by this difference? I would like to start from today's Gospel passage, the last part of it. When Jesus says, I chose you, you have not chosen me. So God has chosen us. Now how God has chosen us? Creating us in His own image. In the Old Testament, Genesis chapter 1 verse 27 very clearly states, God created man and woman in His own image, and that's why we are imago Dei. Now I was trying to go deeper into this saying in the Old Testament. Why God has chosen us in a very special way. God has created mighty creatures on this planet. Lions and tigers and elephants and dolphins and all those beautiful creatures all over the world. But the choice is of human person. And that's why God says, let us make humans in our own image. And what that image means. Now, if you scan through the millions of years, what do we find? You can find the tigers live as they were. The lions the same way. The elephants, they live the same way. We have never heard of tigers and lions and any other creature creating some sophisticated modern places for living. The birds build their nests. The lions, they have their dens, but they have not created homes and apartments and cities as we have. I'm just trying to make a sense of it. When we look at this modern world, what do we find? Every day, every week, new technology comes out, right? New technology. That's why human beings are endowed with this capacity from God Himself. No other creature received that particular endowment from God. And what is this endowment? We can speak of intelligence, wisdom, skills, talents, discernment, knowledge. These days I was getting some phone calls from my brothers and sisters from India. So far they were never calling me. They were always giving a missed call and waiting for my call. Because they all think that from Canada it is very cheap for calling. From India it is expensive. But now, I get so many calls from my nieces, brothers and sisters so often. I was wondering, how come? And I asked my sister, what is that? Now you are completely changed, you are calling me. And they said, you are in Canada, you do not know this? WhatsApp offers free calls, we need not pay. If you have a WhatsApp app in your iPhone or any other phone for that matter, you can call from any part of the world to any part of the world free of charge. You need not pay. So if you do not know about it, you come after the Mass, I will explain to you how to save money on phones. So I was just thinking, making sense of it, how human brain has brought out all this technological progress. We have super jets. We have all kinds of huge cities, modern buildings, the fantastic architecture. That's why human being is filled with all these kinds of talents. Now if you go to Rome, to Sistine Chapel, you will find that the beauty of human nature brought out by Michelangelo so wonderfully. And that's why Pope John Paul II, practically concentrating on Sistine Chapel, brought out the theology of human body. No matter how a creature looks so beautiful, a dog or a cat or a bird, but human beings are the most beautiful creation of God, whether you like it or not. That is where we find how God chose human beings. And that's why in the gospel Jesus says, I chose you, you have not chosen me. Now Jesus says, keep my commandments. And what are these commandments? In the Old Testament we received the commandments. You know, the 10 commandments. Exodus chapter 19 and 20, if you read, you will find the explanation of the 10 commandments. But what about the commandments given by Jesus? What are these commandments? You know, when that lawyer came and asked Jesus, which is the greatest commandment? In Matthew's Gospel chapter 22, verses 36 to 40, Jesus said, love your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. So this is the first commandment, Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 5. And the second commandment, love your neighbor, comes from Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18. Now what are these commandments? If you read chapter 25 of Matthew, there is a unique, beautiful parable of God's kingdom. Jesus says, when the Son of Man sits on the throne, he will divide the sheep from the goats, and he will be saying to the sheep on the right side, come and enjoy my kingdom. Why? Why you need to enjoy my kingdom? Inherit my kingdom. Why? Because when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was thirsty, you gave me a drink. When I was naked, you clothed me. When I was prisoner, you visited me. When I was a stranger, you welcomed me. When I was sick, you nursed me. Whatever you do to the least of my brothers and sisters, you have done unto me. That's the commandment. So on the last day when we go to heaven, God is not going to ask how many masses you attended, how many masses you missed. He is not going to ask how many fasts you made and how many way of the crosses you made, how many pilgrimages you had made. God will be asking the fundamental question, what have you done for your brothers and sisters who are least? Whatever you have done to my brothers and sisters, you have done unto me. That is the command. That's why Jesus repeatedly saying to his disciples, follow my commands. Not from the Old Testament, but from the New Testament. What are these commands? Very clear. Helping our brothers and sisters who are in need. Then he gives a very clear explanation. What is the greatest? The commandment. Within the commandment, there is no greater love than laying down one's life for one's friends. No greater love. And what is this laying down one's life for one's friends? Today we are celebrating Mother's Day, right? And I was explaining to the First Holy Communion children, the greatest sacrifice made by our mothers. And what is that? Practically laying down their life for their children. Carrying you 9 months in their womb. And nursing you almost when you grew up. Making her get up at night. Changing your clothes. Taking care of you. Embracing you. Kissing you. Giving you food. And whenever you cried, trying to console you, holding you in those sacred two hands. And what is that? That is what? Laying down one's life for one's friends. Dear friends, who is our greatest friend? I would consider our family members. And then our neighbors and all those who are around. Our family members. And especially our parents who have done such a lot for us. And then brothers and sisters and relatives who help us. You know, laying down one's life for one's friends is friendship starts at home. charity begins at home. And then Jesus continues, I call you friends. This is a very powerful explanation of love. In Christianity, dear friends, there is no difference. There is no superior and inferior. In Christianity, when we think of love, we are all the same. Whether it is Pope or Cardinal or Bishop or Priest or Pastor or anybody for that matter, we stand on the same footing. And therefore, whenever I celebrate Mass here in the church, I always tell to the new couples, you are equal. You may be a millionaire and she may not earn anything. When it comes to love, you are equal. She may be a CEO, you may be working as a plumber, but you are in love, you are same and equal. But if Jesus has called us friends, then we are to call one another friends. That's why Jesus says, I will not call you servants, because I have made known to you everything that I have learned from my Father, and that is it, openness to one another. Therefore, dear friends, this Sunday very powerfully invites us to deepen our love for one another. If there is no love, all our spirituality, everything that we practice, going for Sunday Mass and our devotions and our prayers, all fall apart, have no meaning at all. What is important is love. And that is what Jesus has taught us. At the Last Supper, as his last act, what did he do? He washed the feet of his disciples and said, learn from me what I have done. You must wash the feet of one another, and then you will show to the whole world that you are my disciples. Dear friends, if we can learn this lesson of love, then we can really be the disciples of Christ, and the merit that we will have in the kingdom of God. Jesus very clearly said, anything that you do to the least of my brothers, you do unto me. Even if you give a glass of water to one who is thirsty, your reward will wait in heaven. And if we understand this message, dear friends, we have understood what is Christianity. We have very clearly understood what is becoming real disciples of Christ. Kindly rise, your professor.